Music time's over.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
In The Master, during the jail cell scene, Joaquin Phoenix breaks a real toilet. His actions were entirely improvised. Due to the historical past of the building where the scene took place, the toilet was considered historical. Joaquin had no intentions to break the toilet, nor did he think it was possible. In Furious 7, the team dropped real cars from a plane with parachutes to film a skydiving stunt in Abu Dhabi. One car's parachute failed, causing it to crash. The stunt included several cars like the rare Lykan Hypersport and cost around $3 million, making the scene very realistic and thrilling. In The Hateful Eight, when Kurt Russell smashes the guitar Jennifer Jason Leigh was playing, he didn't realize it was a 150-year-old antique on loan from the Martin Museum, worth $40,000. Leigh's shocked reaction was completely real, and Quentin Tarantino chose to keep it in the final cut for authenticity. The museum, however, was not pleased and ended future film loans. In Battlestar Galactica's Season 3 episode Maelstrom, Edward James Olmos improvised a powerful scene where he smashes a model ship in grief, only to find out afterward that he had just destroyed a one-of-a-kind original on loan from a museum. The crew had planned to use cheaper replicas for most scenes, but brought out the real one for a close-up without telling him. The unintended smash ended up costing the production $200,000. The helicopter crash in Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was a real accident. During the landing, its tail rotor struck the ground, causing it to spin out of control, roll over, and burst into flames. The pilot and two actors inside were pulled to safety. That helicopter cost over half the film's entire budget. In Blade Trinity, Jessica Biel had to shoot an arrow straight at a camera for a scene. She was so skilled that she hit the camera perfectly and ended up destroying a $300,000 camera. Luckily, no one was hurt, but it was an expensive accident on set.
The arrow embedded itself about 6 inches into the camera, went through the lens, and ended up destroying about a $300,000 camera.
You a virgin? Yes. All right, keep it that way. Ain't gonna be no f***ing that night.
In Bad Boys 2, director Michael Bay blew up a real $16.5 million mansion. The owner had already planned to demolish it, so the filmmakers used the opportunity to create a massive explosion for the movie. A cool way to say goodbye to a house. In The Sacrifice, director Andrei Tarkovsky planned to burn down a real house for the film's climactic scene, but the camera jammed during the take. The crew watched helplessly as the house was consumed by flames, only to realize none of it had been captured on film. Tarkovsky was devastated, visibly burying his face in his hands in behind-the-scenes footage. The house had to be rebuilt at great expense, and the scene was reshot, but the botched first attempt remains one of the costliest filming mistakes in cinema history. In The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan shot an intense action scene using one of just 4 IMAX cameras in the world. During filming, the $500,000 camera was accidentally destroyed. Though the budget could handle it, losing such a rare piece of gear was a major blow. In The Dark Knight Rises, yet another IMAX camera was destroyed. This one worth $500,000. During a scene where Catwoman rides the Batpod down the steps of Gotham City Hall, she accidentally crashes straight into the camera, knocking it out of the operator's hands. In The General, Buster Keaton staged a real train crash by sending a full-size locomotive over a burning bridge, a scene that cost $42,000, the most expensive single shot in silent film history. He used 6 cameras to film it, after hours of delays and multiple trial runs. The wreck was so massive the production left it in the riverbed, where it remained for years. In The Fugitive, a real train crashed into a prison bus for a major action scene in North Carolina. The crash nearly split the bus in half and derailed the train. The wreckage was left in place and can still be seen near the Dillsboro Depot. While the exact cost isn't known, it likely comprised a large part of the film's $44 million budget. In Tenet, director Christopher Nolan chose to crash a real Boeing 747 instead of relying on CGI or miniatures. Believing it was more efficient and realistic, he bought the actual plane for $1.2 million and staged the crash for real. Surprisingly, Nolan said this approach was more cost-effective than using visual effects. In The Dark Knight, the hospital explosion scene was filmed at an old Brock's candy factory in Chicago. The crew bought the real building and used controlled explosions to blow up part of it, including a 4-story section and a long bridge. It was all done in one take, and since the building was destroyed for real, they only had one shot to get it right. The exact cost isn't known, but it likely costs millions. In Con Air, the filmmakers crashed a plane into the real Sands Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas for the movie's finale. Luckily, the hotel was already set for demolition, so they used the real building for the stunt. Months later, the rest of the historic hotel was blown up on live TV. In Spectre, 7 custom Aston Martins were destroyed during a high-speed chase scene in Rome. These cars were built just for the film, and wrecking them racked up about £24 million in damages. According to stunt coordinator Gary Powell, the DB10s were specially modified with features like ejector seats to pull off the action, making this one of the most expensive car scenes in Bond history. In The Outlaws, Christopher Walken's character accidentally destroys a real Banksy painting worth over $12 million. The artwork was made just to be painted over during the show, a unique and costly stunt. In Twister, parts of the town of Waukeeta, Oklahoma, were actually destroyed for the tornado scenes. Producers brought in houses to demolish and also paid to destroy hail-damaged buildings from 2 years earlier. They later helped rebuild much of the town, benefiting the residents. In Jason Bourne, the big car chase on the Vegas Strip ends with a SWAT truck crashing into a casino. And that wasn't an accident. The filmmakers took advantage of the Riviera Hotel and Casino, which was set to be demolished, and used it for the crash. The scene even delayed a J.Lo concert nearby, so the crew sent her flowers as an apology.